Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitaBugHandmades.com, and thank you so much for joining me today for day one of my designer paper video series. This is a three-part series. So today what I'm going to share with you is a quick card featuring some designer series paper from our holiday catalog, and we're going to be using the Christmas Pines stamp set, which is also in our holiday catalog. I love this set. It has some beautiful images and sentiments, and I also love that it's photopolymer. These are my favorite kind of stamps. And I just want to remind you about the designer series paper sale that we have going on right now through Stampin' Up. This sale runs from October 1st through October 31st. And if you buy 3 of these designer series papers listed here, you can get one free. So it's the Floral Boutique Designer Series paper, the Moroccan Designer Series paper, Fruit Stand, Blooms and Bliss, Festive Birthday, By the Shore, Presents and Pinecones, and Candy Cane Lane. And today I'm actually featuring the Presents and Pinecones Designer Series paper. So let me show you what that looks like. Before I do that, just remember anyone who does take advantage of this buy 3 get 1 free designer paper sale will get a free package of crumb cake note cards from me. These are awesome. You get 20 envelopes and 20 note cards that are already cut for you and scored. So these are great. So again, that's a free gift from me to you if you take advantage of this designer series paper sale in my online store. Okay, so let me just show you what this Presents and Pinecones designer series paper looks like. So this is 12 by 12 paper. It has some beautiful patterns and colors. I love the color combination here. I love the cherry cobbler with the emerald envy. It looks beautiful together. Okay. These bows are cute. Oh, that's cute. I've already cut this piece down, but we're using this piece in our card today. And then this is the last pattern. Okay. All right, so let me show you what today's card looks like. Okay, so here's our card for today, and it features some pieces of the designer series paper from that Presents and Pinecones. So in this 3-day series, I want to share with you some different ways that you can use your designer series paper. So here's one way that you can take advantage of using some of those scrappy pieces that you have left. And this card is so easy to make. You could make lots of these really quickly. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to make this card. All right, so I'm starting with a piece of Whisper White. This is cut to 3.5 by 5 inches. I will have all of the measurements for today's project over on today's coordinating blog post, and that's linked just below the video in the description notes. I've got 4 pieces of designer series paper already cut, and I've gone ahead and bannered the ends. This piece is cut at 1 inch by 3.5 inches. This one is 3 1/4 by 3 inches. This one is 1 inch by 3.5 inches, and this one is 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line these pieces up, and I'm going to start over here on the left, and I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of white showing. And I'm going to put this one next, and then I'll add this one, and then lastly I'll add this one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get those pieces added, and I'm going to use Fast Fuse to do that. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces of designer series paper added on, and I want to go ahead and trim off this little bit of white that's showing. You could use your paper trimmer, or you can use your scissors, and I'm going to go ahead and just use my scissors to do this. Okay, so I've got those ends cut off. Now we're going to go ahead and do some stamping. We're going to stamp the Noel from the Christmas Pines stamp set. So I'm just going to ink this up using Cherry Cobbler. That's an ink color I don't use very often. Okay, and I'm just gonna stamp this in the bottom right. Right about here. So I'm gonna give that a minute to absorb. Okay, and this color stamps beautifully. I love it. So now I'm going to bring in a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock. This is cut at 3 5/16 by 5 3/16. I don't normally do 16ths, but that's just the way that it happened to work out when I created this card. Okay, so I've got some fast fuse on the back of here, and I'm just going to go ahead and center this onto this panel here. And I'll have a ruler over on today's coordinating blog post just showing you how to measure out the 5/16 and the 3/16 to make that easier for you guys. Okay, so before we add this layer, I've got a piece of Emerald Envy ruched ribbon. And let me see, this is about 6.5 inches. I'm gonna turn this layer over and just add a little bit of fast fuse onto the back. Just like that, and then let's see, I'm gonna put this on just a little bit down from the top, and we can just wrap this around into that adhesive. Okay, just like that, and do the same thing over here. Okay, there we go. So now we can add this piece to our card base. So for my card base, I've got a piece of Emerald Envy cardstock, and this is cut down from 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I have scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to fold this over and crease it. Again, all of the measurements for today's project are on my coordinating blog post for today, and that is linked below the video. Okay, so now I'm using fast fuse again to just add this layer onto the front of my card. Okay, so I've got that on. Then I used some of that same ruched ribbon, and I tied a little bow, and I've got a glue dot on the back, and I'm just gonna add this right about here on my card. Okay, I think that looks so cute. Love this card. Okay, and just to finish off and add a little interest to the inside, I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here. This is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I went ahead and I stamped the pieces of pine needles from this Christmas pine stamp set. So first I stamped the more solid image in Mint Macaron, and then I stamped this one in Emerald Envy. So we'll just add this to the inside of the card. Okay, so there is our finished card. I love how this card turned out. So let's just bring in our original. Love this card, and I love this Presents and Pinecones Designer Series paper. So please join me again tomorrow. I'm going to share another quick and easy project with you featuring some Designer Series paper from our annual catalog. So if you'd like to purchase any of the supplies that you saw me use today, just head on over to today's coordinating blog post. I've linked it just below this video in the description note, and I have all of the supplies that I used today listed over there. So thanks again for joining me, guys, and I will see you again real soon. Bye now.